And what's up everybody, BMS here, and welcome to Let's Play Hero Core Annihilation Mode. Now first things first, if you haven't already played this yet, it is relatively new after all, then don't watch any further because this is riddled with spoilers as this is an extra mode. And trust me, you're going to want to go through this on your own. It's just that good. Anyway, what Annihilation Mode is basically a little side story prequel to the main game, in which our hero, Flip Hero, aptly named, finds a derelict space vessel floating somewhere out in the asteroid field on his way to kill Tetron again. So he decides to go in there, as Tetron's forces had already invaded the spaceship. He decides to go in and eradicate them all just for, I guess, shits and giggles. I'm not really sure on that, but whatever. Who knows why he went in there? That doesn't matter. What does matter is that first thing you're going to notice is that all the enemies are set on their hard mode patterns, which basically means they have stronger attacks, and ever few enemies have different attack patterns, but not too many. This is, of course, our greeting here. Quite a hard little room. That hunter there, the thing that's shooting that death beam at us, is going to be your biggest target, but first you're going to want to take out the turrets that are shooting at you. They can be quite a pain. And besides, 3 less projectiles being shot at you is always nice. Now, if we can just get that guy down there. Every time he fires off that laser beam, he spawns a smaller version of himself, too, by the way. Handy little trick, but not very pleasant for us. And our battle door. Battle door is a little bit different on hard mode as well, because it shoots out that supercharged blast thing. Not really sure what to call it, but there you go, you get the gist of it. Kind of tough here because we don't have a whole lot of room to maneuver, which is very crucial when you've got all these projectiles flying around, but somehow we managed to make it through there without getting hit, oddly enough. Very good for us so far. And our first computer. Now, unlike the main game, you don't have to collect, there's 10 of these, which there is in the main game too, but unlike the main game, you don't have to collect all of them in order to get like a good ending or whatever. They're just there to give you a little bit of backstory as to what happened here. Now, if you'll notice the name of this area, the Ciretako, those of you that have played EG should find that familiar anyway. I won't spoil that until after we get done with the game, but those of you that have played EG, yeah, you know what's going on here. You know what this place is. Also, don't spoil anything in the comments that isn't covered in the video, because, yeah, that's not good, you horrible, horrible people. And our first boss already, the Silencer. Easy boss, easy in the main game, easy here. A little more difficult, but not bad. You've got that alcove up there. First thing you're going to want to do is take out that turret that you saw me do at the start here, because that can be quite a nuisance. Also, the best strategy for this guy is, as you notice, every time he moves, he spawns either 3 of those Reaper bots or 2 of those little other fish-looking things, like Pac-Man things. I'm not sure what they are, but anyway, kill out the enemies he spawns first, and then you should be able to take him out with little to no trouble. And of course, those of you that have been watching another LP of the main game, or have actually played this before, will have noticed that we didn't get a power-up from killing him there. That's right, because if you remember, when you start the main game, Flip Hero arrives at Tetron's base with no power-ups at level 0. Wouldn't make much sense for us to get any here, now would it? Being this is a prequel and all. So that means that we have to go through this entire thing at level 0, with no upgrades to our buster, suit, or anything like that. That makes it very, very tough, as you would imagine. This isn't exactly a fun room to be in here. Like I say, it doesn't give you a lot of room to maneuver here, which is horrible with all the projectiles floating around. This turret can give you way more trouble than it's worth, too. This should do it there. Oh, well, that should have done it. I guess I got overzealous and stopped shooting too soon. Also, I could be using auto-fire now. That would make this a lot easier. But I don't really like doing that. It just kind of takes some of the challenge out of the game, you know what I mean? And I love challenge. Go back to our save area and replenish our health there, because we're coming up to a room. That next room that we were going into is pretty gnarly. Our way past these guys. It's really random which directions they take off at, so sometimes you can make it through there without getting hit, most times not. I got lucky that time. And here's the challenge, the Power Core, I believe it's called. Yeah, shoots out just a little bit more than it does on normal mode. And it doesn't help the fact that, once again, we don't have a lot of maneuvering room, so your best bet is just to try to make it up there without getting hit. You're not going to succeed, except maybe, you know, once out of every 100 times, but still. What you're going to want to focus on here is avoiding the projectiles, kind of, you know, the opposite of what I'm doing here, and just shoot whenever you can. You should take him down, hopefully, before you die. More often than not, though, you're probably going to have to restart on this guy a couple times. In fact, you're going to get used to restarting a lot on this mode, because, yeah, it's kind of brutal. It lives up to its name, Annihilation. Go back and replenish our health here. And now that we defeated that core, those little laser beams, or whatever it is that were blocking the doors, have gone now. And we can move into a new area. Of course, I didn't actually have to run away to save. There was one right there, but okay. Found the best way to do this is just to bypass these guys. Basically, that's the ticket to this area. Excuse me, this side story here. That's the way to get through it. If you don't have to destroy any enemies, don't. Just sidestep them if you can. Destroy these little enemy launchers here. Basically, you're going to want to take out the right one first, because once you get him done, once you destroy the right one over there, you've got a little bitty alcove there you could use for cover to kill the second one. And that's always nice. Easy peasy Japanesey. Oh yeah. Of course we're going to go back and replenish our health. We're going to try and stay alive as long as possible. I'm not sure. This is not going to be a no-death run by any means, but still, I'm going to try. Why not? Normally I always forget about that little guy on the bottom there, and I'll be fighting this power core here, and he'll come up and smack me on the ass. That's not good. This one, yeah, I find a little easier, because you've got a little bit more room to maneuver around those projectiles he shoots out at you, but still. The ones that he's shooting out there that bounce along the floor off the walls, those are the ones you really have to watch out for. Everything else you can pretty much fly around, but yeah. Also, another little handy tip here. If you see an area where it is unavoidable that you're going to get hit, then you need to pick which projectile, if you can, that you're going to get hit by. Those little shuriken-looking things that they shoot out deal the least amount of damage, so if at all possible, get hit by those. Everything else deals, like, well, a lot more damage than that, but yeah. Whatever it is, it's killing its own troops, locked down in the engine room, bitchin'. I believe we're coming up. Yes, here is our second boss, the Plasma Hydra. A little bit different than normal mode, again. All the bosses are different than normal mode on Annihilation and hard mode, but still, you get the gist of it. Normal mode, you only had to deal with just those 3 heads. However, when you destroy the first phase of 2 of these, then 2 more heads spawn, just like that. And 3 of the heads also have an extra form that you'll see here shortly, and it's kind of devastating if you're not careful. Best strategy for this guy is just to stay up here in this upper left corner area here. Normally he doesn't shoot up there, but I'm getting unlucky this time. Yeah, that's normal. Like normally he doesn't do that. Of course, practice runs are never what the real thing is like. Should be almost down. Come on. Of course, you're not going to be able to do a lot of damage up here because a lot of the times he'll open his mouth down below, and that's the only time you can damage him. And there's that extra form I mentioned, by the way. It's kind of like a skeletal head there, a robotic skeletal head. That makes sense, yeah. And he shoots out those death rays. Don't want to get hit by those. They deal massive damage, as well as overheating you, which means whenever you get overheated, you can't shoot. And anytime you're not shooting means you're not doing damage. And that's not good. You want to deal as much damage as possible, in as little time as possible. Well, we took 2 out with relative ease there. That's going pretty well. Come on. Come on. Okay, just 2 more. Well, 1 more skeletal head. I got this. Hey. How did that not hit me? Oh, well, I'm not going to argue with that. Hey. Guess I got a freebie out of that one. Come on now. There we go. Shouldn't have too much trouble with that guy. But every now and then he'll get a lucky shot off with that death ray of his, and you're pretty much toast if that happens. Definitely want to have full life for this next area. You'll see why here rather shortly. Most of these rooms are designed to where you can bypass most of the enemies. It's just the rooms that you have to kill them all that is royal pain in the ass. I mean, it's... He certainly didn't make it easy, we'll put it that way. Well, I don't know why he's laughing. It sounds like he pretty much screwed himself over. Whatever it is must be one bad mamma jamma. This room gives me more trouble than I really care to explain here. Hard mode difference between this guy is that he shoots out those little super bullets in front of him there. Now those little things that he's dropping there that are staying in place, those are like scatter crap.